Hey guys, my name is DJ. This is my YouTube channel. Welcome back. Let's talk books and other things. So October for me turned out to be something that I did not expect it to be. I started a new job. The world has tumbled into complete chaos, and we'll get to that. I got a new ear piercing, if you can see, on both sides. I got my ears pierced because of the place that I'm working. And I thought it was very interesting. I thought that I could handle it, and I did handle it very well, but my ears hurt. My ears are hurting. Yeah, so that's very interesting. Because of transitions of life, because of doing the many things that I do and the many hats that I wear, I didn't really get to read as much as I wanted to during this month. I wanted to read a lot more and I didn't get to, but that's okay because the books that I did read, the way that they captured my attention, the way that those books are so important to right now and what's going on in the world, and not just about what's going on overseas and pretty much in my own country in America, but also just what's going on in my life and what I see going on in many other people's lives. I feel like the books that I'm reading right now are very important. They are very solid on hitting certain points that are tremendously impacting my life, my friends' lives, people that I'm connected to. The narrations just kind of fall into place, and it also kind of caused me to read between the lines of multiple things more, because even though a story can be very surface, a lot of these stories that I've been reading are very like, you got to do the work. You got to dig into it and figure out what's really going on. And that's what happened to me. That's why I didn't get to read as much as I wanted to, because I was stuck in these stories that were just like a little too profound for me to just move on from. So there's that. So I'm just going to jump into it. The first book that I'm going to talk about in this video is The Other Black Girl. This book is by Zakiya Adalia Harris. So the reason that I needed to jump into this first, because I feel like I'm going to talk the most about this book, which I don't want to. So I'm just going to try to dwindle everything down into something very compact, nice and sweet, so that everyone doesn't have to hear me talk forever about a book that's been out for a while. So The Other Black Girl is following this character named Nella, and Nella works at a publishing company called Wagner Books. And the interesting yet cliche part about this book that makes it such a big thing right now is that Nella is the only black person working at this this publishing company right now. We kind of reach her in a part of this story where she is being introduced to the other black girl. There's another black girl. She comes to work for the company. They kind of hit it off immediately, because Nella is like, Nella's a lot. So the thing is that Nella is a very particular person. She has a lot going on. She's dealing with like self-esteem issues, just figuring out who she is and always trying to fit in and see where she fits in. The issue that I find early on with Nella is that she really projects a lot of her personality onto other people and vice versa. If she sees someone bringing in coffee for the entire staff, then she's just like, well, have I ever done that? Or I've never done that, or I've never had this connection with someone because I haven't taken this step to do it. Or does it kind of like shine a light on me not doing things because I see other people doing them? I don't particularly care for people like that, because I feel like your path is your path and you should just follow it genuinely. And I think when it comes to jealousy, it's really messed up, because if you see someone else doing something that kind of like sparks your interest and you would like to do it, then all you have to do is just kind of like do it and not bring any additive feelings to the situation where, you know, you have to be envious or jealous of someone else because they've done something that you just haven't thought of yet, which I think is strange. You know, you put so much thought into what someone else is doing, it kind of makes you lose time on you doing it. Whatever. But I like Nella because Nella is a regular person. Like, she's working in corporate America. She's an editor, well, pretty much an editor's assistant, and she's reading books. She's going to work in New York City. She's like biting the bullet, making money. She pretty much lives with her boyfriend in the city. It's just a regular person's life. She's like 26 years old, doing what she needs to do to make ends meet and pursuing her goal of becoming an editor. But the shit kind of hits the fan when Hazel, the other black girl, comes into the office and she's just like a burst of new energy. She's almost like a breath of fresh air to the entire company because she comes in unapologetically black. She comes in giving good vibes, very enthusiastic. She's ready to work and learn, and she kind of like rubs shoulders with everyone there. It's kind of like the epitome of what anyone would want to be coming into a new company, and just to get in the good graces of everyone there by, number one, genuinely just being yourself, or seemingly being yourself 100%, and by also just being, you know, fresh and light and just authentic and saying, hey, I am who I am. This is where I'm from. I love who you are. I love where you're from. Let's just connect and be that. New era, new day. Somewhere along the line in that, I think Nella was just off-put by it because she's been here for 2 years and she has not engaged with another black person at her job for these 2 years that she's been there. So of course, at first she's just like, shocked, like, whoa, y'all hired a black person, which is kind of like weird as shit because, whoa, if you've been there for 2 years and the idea of them hiring a black person is kind of like shocking, maybe you shouldn't be there. I'm also going to put this down. So we have this place where Nella is introduced to Hazel and they're kind of hitting it off. For me, I have to always remember that everyone isn't like me. I'm the type of person where I love everyone until I don't love you. And when I meet new people, I'm just like, hey, new person, love you. We're doing new things, new relationship, us. I have to remember that everyone isn't like that. And a lot of people are very like skeptical about new people that they meet. And they feel like, hey, just give me some time to kind of like see who you are. We're at work, so we're not friends yet. Just give me a moment. And I feel like Nella was kind of doing that with Hazel, but she was also just trying to be very helpful. And she was already on that like, hey, black girl, we in here together. Black girl magic. Things start to work out in the beginning. And before I go any further, I will be doing a full review on The Other Black Girl, the book, and on the show that's recently been aired on Hulu, because I recently watched the show, recently read the book, and yeah. There is a lot to unpack with those two pieces of work because they are completely different. Anyone who's read the book and watched the show, I'm sure that you have your opinions. I definitely have my opinions because the show is so different from the book, which I guess it had to be. That's what people were saying to me, like, you know, things have to be different. I don't feel that way. I feel like things should be the way that they are. But pretty much Hazel and Nella kind of go through this whirlwind of becoming friends, and Nella having huge suspicions because her other friend Malika, her longtime friend Malika, is just like, I don't trust this girl. I don't trust what's going on. You're telling me stories that make me feel like you might not be safe. You're in danger. You're dealing with somebody that, I don't know. It all boils down to crazy things happening. And I saw a review where someone was just like, they didn't like the fact that like all the action started to happen like in the last 60 pages of the book. I kind of have to agree. I do feel like we had a long period of time in this book where we had to build up to what was really going on. There is a lot of character building and like world building in this situation. Not all of us work in corporate America or the corporate world, so we may not all know the ins and outs of how things work, but the microaggressions, the ignorance among the white leaders in this company is just crazy. So we are in a space where Nella is starting to see the multiple huge and annoying waves of like racism, whether it be microaggressions or whether it just be flat out someone just being racist in her face, and also seeing a new black girl come in and kind of like navigate her way around it and still be sane and still be accepted by people at her job and almost hailed as like a new hero of Wagner books. It's a lot, but I will be going in on that book in my full review for The Other Black Girl, book versus show. It's a lot. When it comes to The Other Black Girl, I will say that I would give this book like a 4. I think that it's good. I think that all of the bones of making a good story are there. There's just a lot that I had some issues with. And I mean, that's just the way stories go. You know, we love them, we hate them, we like them, we deal. A lot of people hated it, and I can understand why. We all have our different perspectives, but yeah, in the full review, I will talk about everything that I loved and hated about The Other Black Girl. So there's that. Boom. So another book that I read in October was The Changeling, and this book is by Victor Lavelle. This book came out, I believe, in 2017. I haven't finished the book. If you can kind of see, I'm like right here. I think I have like 150 or 100 pages left of the book, but I'm at a space in this book where I feel like I can actually talk about it with confidence and kind of like get the point across until I finish it. And the good thing about it is that this book has been turned into a movie, which is now on Apple Plus, I believe, or Apple TV, one of those. And I haven't seen that yet, but I'm almost through with The Changeling, the book, and I can't wait to finish it so that I can get into the movie. But let's talk about The Changeling. The Changeling is a story following a man named Apollo and his wife Emma. They both live in New York City, and the story kind of like finds them falling in love in a very like awkward way. Emma is a librarian, and Apollo is like a used and thrift bookseller. So Apollo sees her at this library one day and he's all like, oh my God, she's beautiful, I love her energy, and he asks her out. Unfortunately, she like denies him like 6 times. She's like, hey man, listen, I don't want to go out with you. No. And this is one of those stories where kind of like persistence kind of works, and he's very persistent, and he does end up getting her to go on a date with him. So they go on a date and she's all like, hey, I really said no to you all these times because I'm moving to Brazil. And she moves to Brazil, and she's like, hey, you know, if you're still here waiting for me when I get back, then we'll see what happens. She goes to Brazil, and I think she stayed in Brazil for like a year or 2 years she's been in Brazil. But the whole time that she's in Brazil, they're like kind of keeping in contact. They're writing letters, phone calls, you know, very sparsely, not a lot of contact, but there is contact. And when she comes back to America, Apollo's waiting, and he's all like, I love you, I'm here for you. And because I'm gonna do a whole separate video for The Changeling and for the movie The Changeling, I'm not gonna get into deep detail about this book, but it does deserve its own standalone video because I'm like, wow. Out of all the books that I've read this year, this is one of the most fast-paced, most engaging reads that I've had in a while. This book has had me on the edge of my seat since I've started. It's really good. And I mean, I love horror. I love those like really, really dark, weird mystery like stories where you're like, who's the killer? What's going on? Why'd this person disappear? How'd this person end up dead? I love stuff like that. Some of the chapters are like a page long or 2 pages long. Some chapters are like 10 pages long, but you know, it's moving. And I'm really, really, really enjoying it. And going into this book, I was a little like weary of reading it because I was like, okay, well, I've heard the Changeling story many times. You know, I've read a few books that have that narration. I've seen the movie with Angelina Jolie, The Changeling, which is totally different. But from what I understand, this is a legendary classic story of parents have a baby disappears because the baby is like kidnapped by like a fairy or a ghoul or a goblin or something like that and replaced with a look-alike or a monster clone or, you know, something like that, or not even replaced at all, just taken away. This story takes a totally different approach to it, to where the whole time you're just like, yo, what is going on? There are so many twists and turns that happen. Absolutely amazing. Definitely keeping me on my feet. I really hope to finish this book today so that I can get started on the videos that I'm gonna do for The Changeling and for The Other Black Girl and the screen adaptations. So yeah, those are 2 videos that you guys should look for, you know, within the next week or so, because we getting things done out here. We getting things done. The Changeling, I'm not done yet. I haven't heard any reviews about the movie because I just want to stay away from that. A little ways to go, but once I'm done, I will let you all know. And right now, I'm giving this book like a 4.5. It's on its way to a 5. I don't know why it's not a 5 yet, maybe because I haven't finished it, but this book is very good. Very good. Victor Lavelle, I don't know why it took me so long to get into your work, but here I am, and you, my friend, are doing a great job. You're amazing. So the third book that I got into in October is You Are Your Best Thing. And this book is pretty much an anthology. There are multiple authors that are in this book, and they are writing about vulnerability, Shame, Resilience, and the Black Experience. This is a beautiful cover. Honestly, the cover caught me before anything else. I saw this, I heard about it, and I was just like, wow, this is a beautiful cover, and it did something for me, so I picked it up. The stories in this book are like extremely layered. There are multiple artists in this book that are speaking about the shames that they've dealt with in their lives growing up and dealing with shame, and how shame comes about, the true definition of what shame is. Also, the resilience of being a Black person in America and dealing with certain shames that you just have to carry, and being able to come out of that and finding ways to just rebel against it and be a free person however you can, in any way that you can. Because what most people don't understand, because you know, not everyone is under a certain pressure of racism, especially when it comes to America. A lot of people don't understand that, like, you have to find yourself. It is very, very difficult to live a life in defeat when there may be a way to see the light, may be a way to come out of something, and maybe you can find help through other people who have found resilience, through vulnerability, through outreach, through therapy, through medical help, or however. Or maybe you just have to reach deep down in yourself and find an escape out of the oppression, out of the racism, out of all of the things that kind of like bully you down into being someone that you're not, just based off of your skin color or just your outward appearance. So this book is just, it's amazing, because for me, I love to hear stories of triumph. I love to hear stories of a readiness to be a better person and to come out of defeat. But also just people being vulnerable and giving the information of how they did it, where they came from, what their goals were, and how they want this for other people. During a time where we are watching the world literally reenact atrocities that have happened here over and over and over again, just with different groups, I think that this book was perfect for me to read at the time, to understand how being oppressed and dealing with people who don't understand you, or who don't even want to understand your group, can just open your eyes to things that are going on that kind of need to be shaken up, so that truth and possibility and greatness and freedom can actually be broken from under the soil of oppression and racism and defeat. I do feel as though the occurrences that are happening in Israel and in Gaza between the Israeli people and the Palestinian people are a true telling of the unableness of humanity to just come together and find ways to just be together in peace and harmony. And reading this book and understanding resilience in the face of oppression is just so powerful, because when the truth comes, it comes in hard. It's swift as a sword. Not to go too hard on the situation, because apparently many people across the world are arguing on whether or not Israel is wrong in their doings towards the Palestinian people. I have no time to argue with anybody about something like that, because if you know the history of the situation, and if you are currently watching the world news and you see what's going on, and you see how an entire population of people are being genocidally removed from the face of the earth, if you do side with people who are a part of a genocide and they are a part of the crushing of people, there's not much for us to talk about. I mean, you can feel how you feel. I just know that killing innocent people is just, it's just crazy. But watching what the people in Palestine and in Gaza and the West Bank and those areas, how they are being resilient, how they are just concerned about helping each other, helping family, helping the sick, helping people who have been hurt, and cleaning up the dead, and showing so much respect for the dead and for other families. It is a resilience that a lot of people would not have, even here in America, if something like that was happening. It is tough to think about others when such chaos is going on, and you could just step back and think of yourself and run for cover. These people have united and they have shown resilience. We see them dealing with crazy things on the news and on social media, and just seeing the love that they have shown towards each other and the power that it brings to just try to escape the craziness that is going on in that area is just, It's powerful. Reading this book helped me understand that though it is a very dark time for many people across the world, us keeping our resilience, us being ready to fight, and us taking on the oppressors the way that we do, in any way that you can, is important, because there are brighter days. Most of these authors in this book speak from their brighter day, and I just can't wait to see the brighter day for multiple groups of people that live on this planet. It's crazy. And that's why books like this matter, because it speaks more than just to the Black person. It speaks to everyone that has dealt with oppression or is currently dealing with oppression. Okay, so as tough as that was, those were 3 books that I got through in October. October was strange. That's the only word that I can even come up with in my head. Like, October was just something otherworldly. You know, I did start a new chapter in my life, getting a new job, and also, you know, working really hard on my visuals, good things, but then also just seeing a crazy war start in the Middle East after it's been going on for a long time has also just had my mind in a tizzy, which is the reason that this video hasn't come out earlier, because it's just living in a crazy world. Sometimes you just have to, like, navigate crazily. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please tune in to the next video that I will post as I do my November book haul, which will show, I think, about 10 new books that I've gotten, and they're all used books. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and checking me out this time, and I hope to see you soon. Peace.